people now see me was, the creating the content and helping personal brands and everything like that. I started with my phone. I went to these events and created content with my phone. Yeah. It wasn't until a couple of years ago that they were like, yo, Nikki, you need a camera, right? And I still don't use the camera as it's supposed to. I do what I need to do, get it real quick, boom, keep it moving, right? Because I understand speed kills. But
Speed what?
Speed kills.
They got to hear that.
But I know the camera was a tool to get to the next level. It wasn't my thing. I don't identify as a videographer. I don't identify as an editor, right? I know that is what's going to get me into a place that is going to push me to an executive vibe than anything else. Yeah. So let me leverage that. Let me do this. Let me learn from greats and things like that. A great person that I model after is...
It has to work or it has to work.
Welcome to another episode of Accelerate the Great. I'm your host, Nehemiah Davis, and as I keep saying, I'm bringing you the best entrepreneurs, the best creators, and some of the best business minds that you'll ever experience. And today is no other, right? I get to bring somebody who's a savage with social media. That's I want to say that. Like I'm talking about, she's on social media, but she's behind the scenes for so many big names and just her mindset. Like she coached me. Like I'm like, I gotta pay for coaching. Like I need you to help me and my team out. Like she gave me an audit on things that we're actively doing. So I said, hey, I need her to come on here, break down some games so you can see her genius, get her from behind the scenes on front of the scenes. So without further ado, Nikki, how you feeling?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm amazing. Thank you for being here.
No. You knew I was going to be here. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I appreciate you taking time because I know you always work and you a grinder. Where you get the work ethic from though? Because you got a
military.
You was in the military.
9 years.
Well, I appreciate you for that.
Yeah.
What like Army,
Navy,
Marine, Navy? Okay. Mm-hmm. What was you doing in the Navy?
IT.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
A little bit.
That makes sense. Okay.
A little bit, maybe.
Okay. All right. So that's because your work ethic, I mean, I always tell, is the job done or is the job done? Like you're not going to go to sleep till it's done. Mm-mm. We on live the other day, 2:15 in the morning. You hop on my live, coaching me through the live on some stuff. The work, like I feel like a lost cause for people is work ethic. They think it's just going to be like magic. Like I know you're talking about you got this from the military, but why is work ethic today important when really doing well on social media or in business in general? A lot of people looking to grow their social media, but they're giving it no effort. They're giving it no energy, no work ethic.
Because work ethic makes you stand out.
Yeah.
So like what I learned in the military is like, you don't go to sleep until the job's done. Where other people will find several excuses. Oh, no, can't do it. No, I'll do it tomorrow. Right. Where I will always stand out because I'm doing the things that people are already sleeping on. So
wow,
it's super crucial. And even in the littlest things, because some people just look at social media as just a bother, a task or whatever it is. I'm like, it's one of the most easiest things to do because for one, it's just you being you and it's you being consistent. The struggle is people don't know how to be consistent because they do I could take care of this tomorrow. I could do this. I could do that because there's never really been true accountability for anything. And it's not a priority to them. Everything based off what I do. And it's not just social media, but everything that I do is a priority.
Right.
And so I move a certain kind of different way. And though I do get sleep, right? Mm-hmm. I just don't sleep until certain things are done because I'm trying to get to whole new levels. And I can't do that if I'm just finding extra excuses over and over again.
That's good. And it's funny, I be seeing so many people not reaching their goals and not reaching the level of success that they can reach. And ultimately it's because of, in all honesty, the reason why is you don't really want it bad enough.
Right, no.
That's what the boy was down to.
And it's okay. I just want people to be honest about that.
Right.
Like I think it started to become cool to say, yo, I want to be a CEO. I want this amount of money. I want this kind of lifestyle. I want this. it started to be cool because everybody else is doing it, right? Or everybody else is saying it. But really, when they get to it, it's like, oh no. You gotta do the ugly things too.
Yep.
And the ugly things actually excite me because I know no one else is doing it.
Wow.
So it's like, no, we could do this all day because I'm gonna beat you each and every single solitary time. But because I actually enjoy it, so it's not even on no humble bragging. Like, it's just like, yo, if this is going to get me to the next level, let me do that.
Right.
You know, and that's even with me. Like I always say that I'm like the extrovert introvert, right? Like, I'll stay home. I'm not the party. I'm not any of that, right? But I understand relationships.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to come outside once in a while. I'm gonna have to, shake hands, kiss babies, and everything like that. Why? Because I'm trying to get to new levels. I can blame it on the Nicky. You low key are an introvert, you know. So people understand. They don't expect much from the behind the scenes people, whatever. But I'm like, I'm not trying to just be a behind the scenes person.
Right.
Like, I'm trying to make it over here. They could think that I'm a behind the scenes person, but wait till I come back out.
Right. When
And
did
then
you
it's
make that switch? Like, where you said, man, I need to get out here, or why did you make the switch? I would say.
Why is because I feel like creators don't have a voice. I think a lot of behind the scenes people don't have a voice, right? And so we are the true backbones of talent, right? And people just needed to see that. Also, people needed to see that a regular smegular person can be something of influence. Like, we all have influence. We're just not tapping into it, right? And so I was like, you know what? Let's use the regular smegular person that I am, that isn't supposed to win because, one, of my background, New Yorker, Black, Puerto Rican, LGBTQ, like, it's not supposed to work according to stereotypes and things like that.
Yeah.
No, I'm me. And you don't look at me for any of those things. You look at me because it's Nicky, right? And I wanted people to see that because we see an E.T., we see an Inky, and at the end of the day, we always go, yo, you're really the same person.
Right.
Like, you really are like this in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, I'm a human, right? What works? Being a human,
Right.
being authentic. But let me show you from a smaller level, because you look at them as higher than thou. Let me show you on a smaller level that, yo, we are just like you. And so it was important for me to, like, yo, let me take the teachings and everything like that. Let me make it very simple for people.
Yep.
But let me be myself through everything. And when it started really working was the pandemic. Because it was like, oh, wait, I need to know how to do content.
Right.
I need to know how to do a brand. Wait, Nicky's been doing this every single day.
Yep.
Let me pay attention to Nicky, right? And then it was like, oh, I don't even have to have my hair brushed. I just have to show up and I get all, okay, cool. So it was super important that I did it. I started really taking it serious probably like, I'll say 4 or 5 years ago or something like that, but it didn't really hit people till the pandemic.
Wow. So you was sharpening your tool, really putting that work in over that time, building out back ends for others, getting their stuff all the way right. Yeah. And again, I one time I said this, and I think I was wrong, but I was like, one of the people you work with is E.T.
Yeah.
And I thought like you was giving your gift away, like you might have helped in some way, and they saw the value and said, yo, I got it. How did that come about?
So I would say a little bit shortly after I got out of the Navy, I joined his online program.
That was 9 years. So you was in the Navy for 9 years. When you get out the
I
Navy?
got out. Good God.
If you don't know the year, it's fine. I'm just trying to see the story.
I don't know. I think it was 2014, something like that. I think 2014, something.
You joined
around
his
there.
program 2 years after you got out. You
And
found them online somewhere? Okay.
So just like anything was on YouTube, binged on like, why is this man yelling at me? What's happening? But something said, and shout out to everybody who takes advantage of the Black Friday sales, right?
Yeah.
He had a Black Friday sale. I was like, let me go and be you, right? And then I realized that the Facebook group was really dead. And I was like, yo, this man got mad courses. No one's talking in here. All right, I'm about to break down these courses. I'm going to give you my 2 cents of what it is, right? started getting the Facebook popping. Was like, yo, I need to get in the room, right? Did the VIP in Washington, D.C. That was the first one. Boo-hoo, cried. It was horrible, right?
You said you cried?
Oh, I cried.
Yeah.
I think that was the last time I cried. I was like, boo-hoo, cried, right? But then I was stuck, like, meaning every event I was going.
Yep.
Drove, not fly, drove
Yep.
14 hours sometimes, this,
Wow.
that, and the third, just to be around it, because I was like, it wasn't about the opportunity or anything. I just wanted to be around it because I felt whole, right? So, and what I did do was make sure that the number 2 and the number 3 was good, meaning CJ and Carl, right? I didn't go to E at all, right? I was like, yo, what do you need? C was like, okay, I see you're a sneakerhead. Give me a size 14. Say less. Here you go, right? I found a way to do it. Carl was like, okay, I need this. Give me.
I didn't know he wore a size 14.
Oh, yeah, he's big size.
That's a big foot.
Yeah. I stopped providing sneakers after a while. But Carl needed some things that would have taken him 3 months. It took me 1 week.
Yeah.
Right. And so they were like, yo,
you
your
move with a
work
sense of
ethic is
speed. Yeah,
crazy,
crazy.
right? And so they were like, yo, this is when I was doing kind of like mashups. I would take E's voice and put it all these different B-rolls. And they were like, yo, you want to take over the social media? I said, I'm addicted to it. Why not? Well, let's try it, right? But this is where I went pure fan mode, meaning I acted not as the brand, I acted as a fan.
What they want, what would they like to see?
What does the audience want? And the audience wanted bars. The second that we took that shift from let's promote the events, let's promote this, let's promote that, let's just give the audience what they want, that's when it started to skyrise. And like in a year and a half, we got into 1 million followers. Wow. And I got it at like 300K.
Wow.
So, but it was all through, I did like 3 years of just serving. No pay, no nothing like that.
That's crazy.
And
most people wouldn't do that.
And I got criticized and like downplayed by so many people. Yeah. What are you doing? This, that, and the third. And I'm like, it's not about money. It's not hard to make money. Yeah. Now, and I honestly feel it's not hard to make money. How much money you want is a different story. Yeah. But to sit here and say that you can't make a quarter, you can't make $1 over and over again, it's not hard to make money. Yeah. If I want to do this in order to get in the room, in order to learn a new skill set, in order to build an empire down the line, I don't mind serving. Yeah. I did more in the Navy for less. Right.
Facts.
So doing this is
and
nothing.
You love it. Yeah.
I'm enjoying every single second of it. To the point where it was like, all right, we got to give you a check, dog. Like, I love you, but I got to give you a check. Yeah. I appreciate you. I'm the type that I don't have to ask for a check. Like there are people that do that, and I probably missed a whole bunch of opportunities because I didn't ask for a check. But when I did get a check, it made sense. Yeah. It made sense, and I rather do it in that way of proving my value. Because what I'm not going to do is sell you on some, let me show you what I can do. Let me give you some samples. Here you go. No, see my work. I want to be irreplaceable in your life.
Wow. Whoo.
I don't want, and E will tell you. Yeah. I'm not losing Nicky. Yeah. At all. Not at all. Right. And that's
want to become irreplaceable. Yo, if y'all listening to that, how do you become irreplaceable in somebody's life?
When you become a bill, you become replaceable.
When you become a bill?
A bill. When you become a bill, you're replaceable.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh. You become a bill, you become replaceable.
Right. You're always trying to find the cheap. If my cell phone bill hits a certain amount, hello, let's look at the other ones. It's replaceable.
Right.
I'm not trying to be that.
Man, you messed me up with that. That was good. So it's funny you talk about serving. So I don't remember everything how we met ET, but one time me and Jasmine went to Phoenix, Scottsdale. Right. She was like, yo, I got an extra ticket.
Let's go.
Bet, I'm out.
Right.
We went there and She in there serving, had an opportunity to ask a question.
Okay.
So I'm a photographer and I take photos and this. Mm-hmm. You got your camera with you? Yeah, you take some photos now.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
She went back to the room. Mm-hmm. And she went to talk to him. Yeah, you come take some photos. She's like, can my friend come with me? You're like, yeah, he can come too.
Right.
Went back to the room. We geeked.
Right.
Taking photos. Well, what was I doing? I was carrying bags. I was just looking like I couldn't take an ounce of a photo. And that's how my job when I was with him became, when at the end when he's taking photos for people, with people, I just took their phone.
Yeah.
I formed the line.
Yep.
And I take the phone and I took thousands of them to date, thousands of them photos. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what else to do to bring value. And then me and Jasmine for 2 years straight, we went to every event for free.
Right.
Flying on our own.
Right.
I seen them graduate.
Right.
We had that crack chicken, was crazy.
Oh man, if y'all don't go to this crack chicken,
man, that crack
let
chicken.
me tell you.
That crack chicken different. So I was doing all of that. Like I'm talking about, I was doing serving. And then one day I'm like, yo, I want to book you for an event.
Right.
He said, CJ said, everybody say that.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I ain't everybody. I ended up booking them for that event. And I was that was my biggest event I've ever did, starting event. I was so nervous. One, the amount of money I had to pay him. That was my first event I ever sold $100 tickets. I'm like, I don't know if people going to buy them.
Right.
I remember like it's yesterday, that event, I think I made $34,000. Probably like 8 years ago, whenever we met. I could not believe it. Right. But that was then I went to $200 and $300 on that same event. Mm-hmm. I didn't know they was going to buy them tickets like that. And I would have did so much better. The venue held 250 people, every seat filled. I would have had 1,000 people if I went bigger. Right. I didn't think about thinking bigger. But I say all that to say, like, most people don't understand the importance of serving your way to success. Becoming valuable.
It's a leverage game at the same time, because you're serving one because you honestly just want to do it, but two, you're learning something in between time, right? Like, don't just serve just to serve, just say, yo, I'm part of ET. Like that doesn't hold as much weight as everybody thinks. Just to say, yo, I did this for ET. Cool. Great. Right? It is, I'm serving, but I'm serving because it's a mutual situation. Yep. I'm meeting people that I never would have met. Yep. I'm learning things, and just by sitting back and paying attention and just listening, I'm learning things about business. I'm learning what to do, but most importantly, I'm learning what not to do. Right? And this is just being in all honesty, where it's like there's a generation gap, right? So I'm looking at, okay, you did this in your generation. How can we switch it to where it's current? How can we switch it to where it's future? Right? And so I'm learning all these different things, and not learning on on an up. Some things were like, yo, I learned the hard way on certain things, right? But I don't regret those 3 years because it made me who I am. Facts. Right? It's a really big staple in my life, because now I'm saying, if I could serve for 3 years with no dough, and I understood how to leverage the 9 to 5 that I have at that moment, and how to make my dream and my passion come to reality, I understand leverage. I understand how to take this position and how to make this one work. I understand, and I started understand. People now see me as, the creating the content and helping personal brands and everything like that. I started with my phone. I went to these events and created content with my phone. Yeah. It wasn't until a couple of years ago that they were like, yo, Nicky, you need a camera, right? And I still don't use the camera as it's supposed to. I do what I need to do, get it real quick, boom, keep it moving, right? Because I understand speed kills. But
Speed what?
Speed kills.
They gotta hear that.
Hey, listen, I had to stop the episode. Listen, really quick. This is the book responsible for making so many people grow their social media, right? Their income, their impact, and influence, leveraging social media. And you're probably looking at it like, yo, Neil, I don't feel like waiting for you to ship me this book, right, y'all? Go to My IG Cash Book right now. MyIGCashbook.com. Get a direct download to get this in your inbox so you can immediately start leveraging the strategies. This is over 86 pages. Every single chapter is going to give you a gem to grow your audience, to grow your impact, and to grow your influence, right? And I literally created it for you. This is the same thing that I literally watch people go crazy with. So go to myigcashbook.com, go ahead and claim your copy. It will be in your inbox. And when you do that, buy everything that it comes with. I got an IG course with it and a bunch of other things that I know is going to truly help you go crazy. myigcashbook.com. Let's go.
But I know the camera was a tool to get to the next level. It wasn't my thing. I don't identify as a videographer. I don't identify as an editor, right? I know that that is what's going to get me into a place that is going to push me to a more an executive vibe than anything else. Yeah. So let me leverage that. Let me do this. Let me learn from greats and things like that. A great person that I model after is a Kodak lens, Lenny S. Okay. Right? Because he will say, yo, everybody sees my photos with Jay-Z and Rihanna and everything like that, but I'm vice president of Rock Nation.
Crazy.
Right? I did the street team. I did all that in order to leverage to become an executive. Right? So for me, I'm like, yo, my own business, getting into these rooms, creating these relationships through a camera, say less. Say less. Because I know people who are paying thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to get in the room, and all I gotta do is look what I created for you.
Yeah,
they're like, "What, Nikki? I love you." Yes, there you go.
Hey, that I tell my filmmaker, I'm like, listen, we go to events. When the speaker get off the stage, have photos ready for them. Yeah. Because the people they hired to do the events, they not gonna have them photos for 2 weeks.
Yeah. And so imagine what video does.
Yeah, and the content's dead into how we move our lives. Every day I'm doing something new. I need my live dumps. Yeah. We loading photo, video. Like just a hack I be telling video, you go in a room and you do that for every speaker. As soon as they get off, you ready to airdrop them. They will not forget it. It's like, whoa. Yeah. Like, and you giving them heat.
Yeah.
Talk about the concept of speed kills. Cause I know we were together last time. You're like, yo, let me go work with your guy. Like you was telling a few, like, yo, I need to go work with your people. Like why is speed so important in this content world?
So right now it is more on, you have to flood these digital streets. Why? Because we look at the person who has content as the expert. Yeah. Right? Not the person in the background who probably went to school and it does this like regularly. It's who's ever out there. Wow. Right? So if you're doing an event and it's sold out, we have to see that. And so the person who is the videographer at the time, the photographer at the time, needs to understand, one, I need my stuff now. But let me explain why I need my stuff now from an event standpoint. Yeah. Right? I don't want my online people to feel like I'm missing, that I'm like skipping out on them, but I want to give them just enough to let them know you missed out. Yeah. I can't do that with a replay the next day. Yeah. Cause you're like, I'm over it. Yep. Right? Oh, that happened.
I'm over it.
I'm over it. Yeah. Right? But if I do little snippets, the speaker just left. For one, now the audience is like, oh my God, why didn't I go? Shoot, I should have spent the 500. I should have spent 1,000. It was a lot, but next year I'm there. Wherever it is, I'm there. Two, you're now leveraging your skills. So because the speakers are now like, I've never seen anybody create the content this quick, right? What is happening? Hello, like you do. Yo, talk to my person, because how did that How did you do that?
Yeah.
Right? And it's just very simple things that people just don't know, to where it's like, oh, you are everywhere. Yep. You are doing everything. Oh, you were just in. Hold on. Why do I have a full day recap and it's still 2 p.m.?
Right.
Like, you had a full day.
Yeah.
What happened? So it is the whole, I have to flood the streets with content because I want you to know I am the expert. I am number one in this market. And though other people may be better, I make this look better. And I'm there for the people. If I don't put out content, I'm being selfish. If I don't put out content fast, I'm being slow. So, yeah, I could be really dope, but no one knows that. Yep. Or they know it too late. And somebody else who was very fast at it got all my followers. Oh, no, that's not going to happen for me. I promise you that. You're going to see something every single day. And whatever I'm doing, you're going to see it right away. And whoever I work with, you're going to see it right away. Why? Because, for one, I don't want you to miss that person. I don't want you to miss me, because we have a squirrel mentality. If I don't show up, oh, wait, who's wait, Neil's just talking about social media today. I'm going to pay attention to Neil. And I lost them. And if you go hard that day on some, I'm the new content creation master. Yeah, everybody else is cool, but let me show you everything. And these next 7 days, I'm going to drop every single day at this particular time. Boom, boom, boom. They're like, Nikki, who? Right. Because I'm not showing up. It's a relationship. Wow. I go to the person who picks up the phone fastest. Yep. That's a fact. So why doesn't that apply to content? All we're doing is creating relationships. With content is creating relationships, creating connections. It's not really about selling or anything about that. It's about building trust and building connections and relationships. If we're friends and you call me one day, I pick up, what about it? We have a great conversation. Yo, something just happened. I got to talk to Nikki. You call me and I don't pick up. Oh, maybe she's busy, right? You call the next day, I don't pick up. And then I call you back. Your energy isn't the same the next day. Your energy is like, hey, I was going to tell you something. It doesn't matter anymore. Yeah. Because you found somebody else to talk to. We're still friends. We may not be as high as friends as I had the attention before. It's the same thing with content. If I don't deliver it fast enough, you're going to lose interest. That's a fact. That's it. You're going to lose interest. You're going to find somebody who's going to be present for you when they are online. That's it.
Let me ask you this. So, because like you literally just gave me an audit and I want to get better on, like you said, I've been flooding the streets. Like I'm just flooding. Yep. But I could be doing a better job with just creating more of connection and what, like I'm a marketer, like,
absolutely,
you know, but I do want to create better connect. How do I do that? Like, how do I create better connection? How do I increase my engagement on Instagram? Is the worst it's been.
Right.
Now, I don't know if, like I said in the message, I'm like, yo, I did some
bot stuff.
Stuff. Not bot mean paying for followers. When I say bots, like the DM.
Yep.
Instagram, and a whole message go back, and one day we said DM me a word. I got 1,000 key comments, and it started triggering it. Ever since that day, my crap just, and I'm still ain't making excuses, because when I post my one at 8 a.m. where we say comment yes, what you say isn't as good enough, we get a whole lot of, but I want all of my content to be performing at, coach me right now. Give me like, how do we improve? What do we need to be doing?
So the first thing I always say is, what would get you to comment? What would get you? Like when you see something, you read something, what would get you to comment?
It got to be fly, something for me around traveling, something that I like doing, like something that inspires me, that makes me comment.
What would get you to comment more than an emoji? Because I think what you just said, you'll probably comment with an emoji.
Yeah, I might still do.
Yeah. So what would make
I got to be inspired And like you told me, they probably got to ask a question. But sometimes I'll be lazy with the response.
That's fine.
I'm hitting you with let's go. Like I'm just random bow just because I'm lazy.
But even let's go is fine.
Yeah.
Because what we have to do is just get them out of the emoji stage.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to create a conversation.
Yeah.
So you always have to reverse it to where it's like, first, what would make me have a conversation? What would make me type a whole sentence? Because that's a lot.
It is.
It's a lot nowadays, right? So what would make me write a whole sentence? And you kind of break that down and you're like, okay, let me apply that to my content. First and foremost, right? One of the main things is what type of questions would intrigue and trigger a conversation that is of a debate, so versus kind of situation, like, all right, you know what? If we're talking on a marketer side, there's this type of marketing, and then there's this type of marketing.
Mm-hmm.
I tried both. I'm not really sure where I'm at. What do you guys think about this? But before I give you my take, because, and I do this very strategically, whenever I show kind of like, what do you think about this? I'll never give my opinion because I want your opinion before I give you my 2 cents. And my 2 cents will probably be on my podcast. My 2 cents will never be on social media like that.
So y'all, so it's like, I've been hearing mixed reviews. Like, I don't know what I should do. Like, some people are saying I should focus only on YouTube Shorts right now.
Right.
And then some people are saying I should just focus all on TikTok.
So you do both?
No, I'm saying, I'm asking my audience, what tell me in the comments what y'all think I should do.
That's perfect.
That's what something like that.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. That's
because now we'll tell, for one, you're asking them their feedback. And what
is this a video? How do I do? Is that a post?
It could be a straight post, because your posts actually do work.
Okay.
Right? But your videos work as well. So the whole thing is people want to feel heard.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
I want to feel heard.
So if you ask a question, you got to get your team to be like, when somebody answers, make them feel seen.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Because now I know I can comment and you're actually going to respond.
I just shared on my story that somebody literally tagged me and was like, yo, he responded. He said, let's go. And that was actually me who responded.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And that's a big deal to people, especially when
like E.T. would do it to somebody, you'd be like, whoa.
Right. Because we look at people who have influence as like almost unreachable. Mm-hmm. And now you're like coming down and saying, no, I'm one of you. Yeah. So now they're talking to you on a regular basis because they feel as if you're reachable, as like, yo, he's one of us. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just, yeah, he has these things, but he's not bigger than us.
Yep. Same
right?
person.
Same person. So you just done things a little bit different, and now you're coming back and telling people how to do it. But what people sometimes do is they'll tell people how to do it, and that's it, and not have the conversation. So now you look like a dictator than somebody who truly just cares about the community and wants to and really wants to help. Right? You're telling people what to do, and no one wants to be told what to do. So the questions of like, yo, do I do YouTube Shorts? And now you're saying, yo, I value your thought process, and I'm actually going to make a move based off your response. Yeah. Right? So if majority of y'all say, yo, do TikTok, I'm going to do TikTok. Right? Even though you may still do both, they're going to be like, yo, he listened to me. So when you ask another question, that means I can give my 2 cents, because you know what? Everybody wants to give their 2 cents ever since social media started. You're now giving them a safe place to add their 2 cents. And what anybody wants is a safe space to give their opinion, because the world isn't safe. Yeah. And you, by creating conversation, you, by creating engagement, is now creating that safe space for people. And that's where people will gather and be like, you will have a community within the comments. That's why, like, even with your live, you're like, yo, drop this, drop that, and they'll do that. And you have a live community with some people will come to the lives just for the chat.
Yeah.
That's the same thing you have to kind of do with your post. The same energy that you give, right? Where you're, yo, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? That's what people know you for.
Yeah. I gotta do more of that.
And you gotta do more of that. And it's not about just doing that, because it's about, when it comes to social media, it's about brand awareness and audience nurturing. The audience nurturing is the engagement part. The brand awareness things is
Tell us about brand awareness.
So brand awareness is, of course, where, how do I get more followers? How do I get more eyes to my profile? The biggest way to do that is, what is the platform putting energy to, right? So right now, like YouTube has YouTube Shorts, and they're putting a whole lot of energy on that. Okay, I'm not going to fight the system. We're on rented property. I don't own YouTube. I don't own Instagram. I don't own TikTok. So let me play the game that they want, so they can give me the reach that I need, right? So I'm going to do that with adding value. Now, everybody says, yo, how do you add value? Like, all right, I hear it all the time. There's 3 ways: functional, emotional, and life-changing value, right? So functional is the tips, tricks, right?
Got it.
Give me 3 things to do this way. Okay, cool. Yeah. That's the functional. That's really good for new people. That's for the brand awareness, right? Because now you're saying, okay, try this. They try it. Oh, snap. It worked. Yeah. I'm here now, right? Boom. The emotional, which people will get caught up in thinking, oh, I have to make people cry. But it's really emotional / entertaining, right? Because how are we getting people distracted from reality? How are we lessening their anxiety? Right? How do we become a positive outlet for them? And that's like behind the scenes stuff. That's telling a story, being a little bit transparent about your life.
So my daughters, y'all, so man.
That, and showing your family is one of those.
Got it. So lately, y'all, my daughter's been like my 17-year-old, right? I'm really trying to better understand her, help her as a father, and I'm learning. Can y'all give me some advice on what's some things you wish your parents would have did for you when you were 17?
Right there. And that's like, first off.
Now they.
And then that also triggers the person who's in your same position that is going to read those comments and then reply to some of the, yo, that was good. Yo, you know? Ooh. So now people are feeling closer to you because they're like, yo, I need the same advice. Yeah. Yo, I'm reading the comments just like how you are. But then other people are like, yo, he needs my help. I got you. No worry. Like, I'm following you for a reason, right? So that's more of, okay, that's the audience nurturing. But also another thing of the audience nurturing is going to your insights and looking at your highest performing shares, comments, and everything. Like, why? Because that literally tells you what the audience wants. Your content blueprint is in your insights. It's not within a strategist. It's not with anything. You've already created the data. It's about reading it now. And not a lot of people read their insights.
Tell us how you read the insights.
So
that's good.
So if we look at, let's say,
you already have to have the data already.
Right.
First.
Like if you post
like me, I have the data. Of course,
you have a lot. But let's say somebody had just posted a month straight, right? You have data now. You have things that's like, and I don't want people to get caught up in like what we wanted to have, right? Because people get discouraged and stop doing social media because, oh, I didn't get enough likes. Yeah. Well, what's your definition of enough likes? Because where in any book, in any law says to be successful, you need to have this amount of likes, this amount of views, this amount of comments. There's nowhere in the world that says this is what a successful social media profile looks like. We just look at others and we say that's successful. But us being already on social media, which is already awkward, is successful. In my eyes, it is, right? Because it's about one person. However, if we're talking about, let's say, Instagram, if we go into our insights and we go and we check comments, if we go and we check shares, if we go and we check saves, these are actions that our audience is doing, right? We could pay for likes, right? We can get real active with the plays. We may have just done a really dope trend or whatever, right? But our audience is engaging with these particular ones. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to see what I did, what type of format of content that I created, but also I'm going to look at the topic because, oh, you like that topic? I can say it in a different way, and I'm going to get similar results to that because I already know you like it, right? So for like me, I know people like when I give the tips and the updates to social media, right? So content creation tips and social media updates, I know that, right? If I do something else, they may like it. So when I need to make sure my audience is good, here's a social media update. Oh, there's all the shares and this. I'm not going to fight data. I may not like it because it starts to get more of a routine.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to fight that. If I'm trying to grow and I'm trying to allow my audience to be a marketing team that I don't have to pay for, I have to cater to my audience and give them what they want.
That's good.
Hey, what's up? You're looking at this video because you are enjoying the episode. What I need you to do right now, I need you to like, subscribe, and share this episode below. I'm not going to ask you for anything on this episode other than share this with a friend. My goal is literally for this to be one of the most impactful, one of the most powerful podcasts there are that moves people into action and takes people from where they are to where they want to be. And one other favorite I want to ask, can you leave in the comments below at least 2 to 3 different comments on your biggest takeaways, what you're loving the most, and one thing that you're going to do to push yourself closer to your goals and your dreams. So again, thank you so much for tapping in. Get back to the episode.
I'm so big, like you're big on the paid. I'm big on the organic.
Yeah.
I
like both though.
Oh, this is a fact.
Yeah.
But
I like that organic stuff you talking.
The organic stuff, if
advocates.
If I can create a community with just giving you free stuff that I had to do anyways, and I say share it and you do, people pay for that. Yeah. People pay for that type of reach. People pay for that type of engagement. Yeah. I don't pay a dime.
Right.
And the following grows and everything like that. Why? Because I nurture the audience. I play the platform game. I'm not dumb. I don't own this place. So yeah, I got to play this game here and there. I don't want to do all these reels. I don't want to do all these short. I don't want to get on TikTok. Nothing like that. It's how many more things do I have to do?
Yep.
But how bad do I want it? How important is being global to me? I could stay local, but I have people in Nigeria that know me. I have people in Australia that know me, UK, all that stuff. Because I'm consistent, because I nurture, because I play the brand awareness game, right? Then there's another part where it's like I create to just experiment, right? So I always say this system is a pay system, right? Because at the end of the day, you get paid. But platform audience you, right?
Platform audience
and you
Got
right?
it. Okay.
So you post for the platform, whatever the energy is putting for your brand awareness. That's for the platform. The platform's happy. They'll give you to other people. Audience, right? You give them what they want. Why did they follow you? Go into your insights. Cool, right? So now they're sharing you. Now that brand awareness, audience, everybody's happy. The platform's happy. The audience is happy. You're good. Now you post for you because it's still your platform and you still got to like it. People look at social media as a job and a task when it's really just a tool to be yourself. It's the tool for people to see who you really are. It's not meant for anything else, right? If we remember back in the day, it's what am I eating? When am I going to the movies? This is showing who you are, right? It amplifies, it makes it louder who you truly are. It is a microphone. That's all it is, right? So I'm creating stuff that I want to create. Now, sometimes I want to create stuff that monetizes. So I'm going to experiment how to monetize, how to sell without selling. Right?
Tell me about that because I want to learn more how to sell without selling.
Yeah, how to sell without selling.
I know people want to learn that.
Because you had Sean on the one of your podcast episodes. There was product crazy. But there was product placement. Right? So there was a book. Sean has a book. He doesn't have to say he has a book. You see he has a book. You're surrounded by the book, right? So that's selling without selling. I can show you certain things and you're like, where'd you get that from? Like, shout out to the people who send me hats because when people see certain, where'd you get that hat from? Exactly. Oh, here you go. This is where I got it from. Boom. And that's all. This is where affiliate marketing comes in as well, right?
Or
Boom,
I'm
they
wearing
go,
it. I need a check for wearing it.
Thank you, right? So selling without selling. If you have a program, right, you show a snippet of your program, right, with a little in the middle or at the end, kind of where they go for it, a call to action in the caption, like, yo, for more information, this, that, and the third. But I hit you with value. I didn't say, look at me in my program. Now, sometimes you have to do that, right? But look at me in my program. Buy my program. It's great. Great.
Value
They're like,
first.
we're not trying to be sold to. We are on social media for entertainment, education, and motivation. We are not, nowhere in there is I want to be sold to. So we have to be creative with the connection, right? We got the connection. How do we be creative with it? So now it's about, let me just pop up a little bit of, all right, even if you don't have a product or a service, let me put my Cash App up there. I don't know who wants to bless me. Yeah. I may have added value the way that you want to just bless me. Boom. How do you know if you never put it out there? Right? How do I create ads within my own content? Why am I waiting for Instagram, YouTube to pay me when I could pay myself by inserting my own ads into it? Right? So I'm giving value, boom, 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 and say, hey, this is brought to you by Deeper Than the Brand. Boom, right? And then I keep going. They're like, hold on, there's more of this, right? I didn't say, and Deeper Than the Brand is this. Powered by Deeper Than the Brand. Boom. Powered by Nicky. I need to know more, right? It is always, how do I add value, but sneak in my call to action, sneak in this, sneak in a product placement and things like that.
And you don't got to seem salesy.
Right.
Because I definitely don't want to be like, they know I'm going to sell you something.
Right.
And I don't feel bad about selling you something because you're going to get worried. But I like when it's value content. Like I told a lot of people, like lead, we're giving so much game and they got to come see you. Yeah.
It's planting the seed, right? Because if you add value and they share it, but there's a little small call to action, other people are going to see it. And now they're like, wait, what is this? Let me build curiosity, right? Once again, social media is a tool. The tool is also to build curiosity to find out more, right? Getting them off social media is the whole goal. It's not keeping them on there, right? What are you doing it for? Vanity metrics to say, yo, I have this amount of followers and yet you're broke. So that does nothing. So we have to, how do I build the curiosity to get them off social media? I have to give them the value, build the trust, show them direction because low key, they are followers. We have to lead them to where we want them to go. So some of us are just putting out content and not leading them anywhere and then wondering, why am I not getting any kind of conversions? Well, did you tell them to go click the link in the bio? Did you tell them that you had an email list? Did you tell them that you had a book or anything like? Did you? Oh, I dropped it one time. Oh, you think the world stopped because you dropped it?
Right.
Absolutely not.
Right.
You have to continuously put that in your face in different creative ways. If we have, ET has a book out, right? What do you think we're doing? We're showing people who has the book. It's not about buy the book anymore. Stop that. It's about look who has the book.
And why don't you have
right?
it?
I don't have to tell you buy it. You're seeing everybody and their mamas have it. You feel left out. You're going to buy the book because you don't want to feel left out.
You know what's so funny? I've been trying to learn. I got to study this. I want to learn the feeling of fear of missing out. Like, how do I make it?
That's so easy.
You know, tell me, you get me, I want that because I donated $100,000 the other day. Like me and him 500 and main thing is I wanted to help. But when I saw my 8 friends up there and I was just sitting on the sideline and I know I could do it, I'm like, I'm in.
So
like even y'all event today, I was like torn, like he made me feel so bad for not being here. Although I had a prior engagement that I had multiple people rearrange their schedule around us. So I had to, but I felt bad not being here. I came here. How was it? They dropped gold. I'm like, it just hurt. I just felt deflated that I was not in the room.
So there's different ways of doing that. So I believe more in FOMO and exclusivity.
Yeah,
right?
tell me about it. Yeah.
So let's think about the Jordan brand.
Yep.
Right? So Jordans drop every Saturday, right? Different colorways, this, that, and third. However, they're not available for everybody. You can only go through a certain process, right? So at 10 a.m. on Saturday, you better get your butt up and go onto the sneaker app and try to be the first one to get it. If not, you're going to get the nope, sorry, you didn't get that.
Crazy.
Right? But you're going to see all these other people saying, got him, got him, got him. You're like, how? Right? You don't want that feeling no more. Right? So as a brand, you're like, okay, how do I train my audience to know that this is a small amount and when it's done, it's done. Yeah. Right? And that takes a little bit of patience because people think, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do, let's say, only 100 people. 100 people. Yo, did you ever do this before? Because did you even get 10? Yeah. Right? So, and what people don't have is the discipline because when you say, yo, I'm going to cut it off at this day, and then that day, yo, can I get in? Yeah. They're like, yes. Yeah. No. Like,
it's over with.
10 or this particular day. If I reach 10, sold out. If this day happens, you can no longer get in. Because why? Because it trains your audience of, oh my God, I need to do this quick. If not, I'm going to miss out. Yeah. And then I'm seeing all these different posts. This is where you get in your documentary bag where it's like, oh, we're on the call. Boom. Oh, I'm writing a new plan out. Boom. Oh, we're traveling together. Oh, I just booked the mastermind. Boom. You're documenting and they're like, yo, when's the next one gonna be at? I don't know. Yeah. Wait, what do you mean you don't know? Yo, whatever I need to be on the list, whatever. Now you're starting to do polls on stories like, yo, I'm thinking about opening it again. Mm-hmm. What is your thoughts? Mm-hmm. Yes. All right, listen. Just, okay, get on the waiting list. Depending on how many people, you already have the intentions of doing it again, but you're making them go through a journey and they're like, oh my God, whatever, I can't miss out. Boom, boom. You keep it the same number again. Mm-hmm. You don't increase it because it's like, yo, oh my God, but I could get more money if I get more people. No, you increase your price. You don't increase the amount of people. You increase the price because what you need to train people on is that this isn't going to be here all the time.
Yeah. When you get them J's?
This was, I want to say like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, something
You know what's so crazy? Now I want to stop you. We go back to it. Michael haven't played in over, 15 years? Yeah. People, the kids who are buying mics, they never saw Michael play a game in his life.
Right.
After you finish that, how do you create that type of brand? Like, how do you create
powerful brand? And I'll give you a better example. Because if people know me, they know I'm a student of Nipsey Hussle. Okay. Right. So I've been saying this over and over again.
You finished the FOMO thing, right? Just
yeah. But it's going to come back.
All right.
No. I can bring it back.
Notes.
No, I can bring it back. Right. So, I'll say this. So September, let's say September 29th. I'm gonna make up a date, right? September 29th is a release for something. Let's just say, keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Nipsey Hussle was in his videos always had a money counter, right? So receipt, all that. Yeah. He always had a money counter. So they showed a picture 10 days before the 29th, right? On some, showing a picture of the money counter, September 29th. That's it. Everybody's like, what's happening, right? Curiosity, right? Boom. The next day they showed the money counter in its entirety. Now this is building up hype, right? Then they showed certain influencers getting the money counter, right? So now your favorite people, to bring in brand awareness and to bring in new audiences, are seeing this money counter. Now it's saying September 29th, 9 p.m. West Coast time. Boom. And another post was showing Nipsey's hand and an old tweet from 2027 saying money counter is coming soon. And now people are like, it's finally coming to life. They dropped that for $3,000. It's sold.
Crazy.
People were buying it.
Yeah.
And they understand that it's limited, right? And that they didn't put a price that everybody can afford. They hit the true core people. My man's been dead for about 3 years now.
Crazy.
Right? That's because he created a powerful brand.
Wait, this is after he passed away?
This is this September.
I'm thinking you was...
No, this is this September.
Wow.
That just passed.
Wow.
People bought it.
Wow.
For $3,000. My man has been
Powerful.
Dead. Right. I'm saying that because, okay, it goes back to when he was alive. I'm sitting here
creating my new launch plan, my next one.
Right.
It's like, Matt, I only got my phone in my... I'm sitting here dialing this in right now.
Right. But it's about that people were proud to pay that. And that's what his whole campaign was, proud to pay. He created, if we think about it from before, and this is where the FOMO situation comes back, is he did 100 copies of a mixtape for $100.
Yep, I tried that.
Right? Sold out. If you got it, you got it. If you didn't, you didn't.
Yeah.
Mixtapes were $5 to $10.
Yeah. You said 100 or 1,000 copies?
No, so 1,000. Sorry, 1,000 copies. Right? He did sell mixtape for $1,000 though. That's another day, right? But I say that because it was a 1,000 copies only. It was well over market price.
Well over.
Why? Because he is the market. It's never about doing what the market is doing. When you have a powerful brand, when you create the FOMO, when you are teaching your audience, this is the new way of buying. Now you can set your own prices. Hence why you can take a between $150 to $600 money counter and you can make it into $3,000 and people still buy because you are the market. You're not in the market. You are the market.
Dang. You are the market. You're not in the market. It's a lot. This powerful. We bring this to a close shortly, but my gosh, you are the market. You're in the market. Power of FOMO. Like, you literally got me thinking about my next launch. Like, I'm about to really put a date on it. And I think I'm gonna add even a time. You got 5 minutes to get in for what I'm doing. And like you said, I'm gonna really shut it off at 5 minutes and just see.
Right.
Then you gotta wait again.
Right. But think about it. If that's the vibe that you're going to do, like whether it's a week or 2 weeks before, they should just see the number 5.
Yeah.
What does 5 stand for? Like, in one post is just say 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you're starting to sneak peek what you're actually about to drop. And it's like,
I think I'm gonna do 30 days. Or I'm gonna marinate. Like,
no, that's fine. Because then
I haven't offered this in a while.
And that's fine. Because now you're getting people to connect with what it is. You're building that hype. And think about
10 minutes.
Think about it from a movie standpoint, right? There's movie trailers like the Wakanda Forever, right? They leaked trailers that people have gotten access to certain parts. Now we officially see the trailer. If movies did it, why can't us as personal brands do it? Right? It's the same. They build the hype. They let certain people watch the premiere. How can we let certain people have access to what we have, document it, and be like, whoa, I can't wait to say, or how can I get part of that? Like, boom, now you're creating two sides. How could I be part of the exclusive vibe? But how do I get access to this? I need to see it. I need to have it. I need to do this. This is where you have to think outside of the box, right? Because we just look at in our industries of what are they already doing? No, what did the movies do? What did sports do? What did authors do? I'm a chef, but I'm looking at all these outside markets because that's what Nipsey did. I'm not reading what other music artists are doing. I read a book about a Philly cheesesteak spot in
Contagious
Contagious.
Fascinating, I think.
Yeah, it was Contagious. $100 Philly cheesesteak. I'm going to put that to a mixtape.
Yeah. And I went and did the same mixtape play for $100, and I sold them. You know what I want to do though? I want to go back I want to go bless them people who actually bought it off of me for $100. I'm gonna have the team go pull that list. Like, yo, I remember 2 years ago you bought my mixtape for $100. Wanted to get us to you. Cause that, like you saying, those are true fans.
Yep.
And true supporters to spend $100 on a mixtape.
That's a fact.
For me, I ain't Nipsey. I'm talking about regular.
And as you know, it's easier to cater to those people who already bought than getting new people.
Oh my gosh.
It's easier. So if
I'm
you
focusing on that
So
now.
if you was to go back, do you know they're like, yo, I feel seen. Once again, that safe place and that they feel seen, they're going to give you more.
Yeah. I'm thinking about I might go my event space program is 5 to K right now. I'm thinking about $500 for 5 minutes at 5 p.m.
Yeah. There you go.
Think about that. I don't like 5 p.m. because I feel like sometimes you drop. Like, I want you not to be distracted. That's why I normally go 8 or 9. But the number
Then do 8:55.
at 8:55. Okay.
It's like random, but still hits the theme of 5.
5. Yeah, that's what that 5 is powerful. I mean, and I've never made the course that price ever. And so I don't know if y'all listen. I still don't know if I'm gonna do that because
don't get hold up.
Yeah,
don't hold your breath on that one.
Exactly,
right?
because it's so cheap. But I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna say put 5 out and just. That would be powerful.
But you're also training your audience of, I only have 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5.
I gotta move fast because now, for the next thing you do, now they're on like.
They ready.
So the next thing you do, you can't let them buy it at any time.
Yeah.
You have to then train them again and be like, okay, I'm ready. Bang.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think that's thinking. And I don't go crazy. If I give it to them for $500, that's like crazy cheap. It's like, I don't even know. I'm sitting there thinking, but yeah, we gotta think about it. But listen, you, Jave, dropped so much game. What are you studying? Like, how are you staying? We didn't even get really deep into social. What should my content posting look like? Like, how many, like, you not just flood the street with just to do it. I know it got to be methodical, but how many times should people be posting a day, or me? Like, do I need to be? I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. We doing YouTube. Like, just machine gun and everything.
I always go like this, right? Concentrate on one social media platform to be able to repurpose on the other ones.
Got it.
Right. Once you've mastered that one platform, you can understand how the rest of the algorithm works. Right. What people tend to do is just go everywhere because that's what they heard, and they're wearing themselves thin, and they're not creating a real, true, strong audience. Right. So you master one and repurpose on the rest. Right. Because that audience is going to grow regardless.
Yeah.
Right. As far as how many times to post, you have to look at your analytics. Yeah. So like for you were flooding it 3, 4, 5 times a day. Yeah. Your analytics is saying, nah, homie, that's not working anymore. Where somebody can do that right now and their analytics may say, yo, this is pretty okay. Bare minimum, I'll say at least once a day. Yep. Okay. Because we have to stay present for our audience.
That's what I've been worrying about.
Key,
being present.
right? Key. If you show up bare minimum on a post and a story, you're good. Yep. Right? Now, this is where you have to experiment. All right, let me do morning and let me do evening. Let me see how that works. Because and everybody's times is different. So there's never, if you ever hear, okay, at 12 and 4 and there's different time zones, they're lying to you. Okay. Yeah. My audience is different than your audience, is different than your audience. It's always going to be different. But if we think of human behavior as far as breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I know I'm on my phone, let me kind of post around those times because I know people are on their phone, right? And so bare minimum, 1, if you want to try 2, let's do morning and evening kind of vibes, right? Because lunch, we're still kind of busy and everything. And if we want to do a 3rd one, let's be intentional with, okay, brand awareness, audience, and then let me do another brand awareness one, right? Let me do the you another time. because right now, but the you could be, let me try a brand awareness thing, because I need the data.
Yep.
And I need at least 3 weeks of data to say this works, this doesn't. Right? So if you want to post, please do post more, but intelligently make the decision of, is this working or is this not? Not the whole, if I just flood the streets, it's eventually going to work. Because that's exhausting for one.
Yep.
Two, you're going to get your audience exhausted of you eventually. And that's what we're not trying to do. I want people to look forward to my posts. I want them to turn on their notifications. I want them to like, yo, Nikki, every single time you post, I'm on it. I may not be ready for it,
But I'm on it.
but I'm on it.
Damn, that's good. So many different ways to make this work. My gosh, it's just, that was fire. I just gotta keep moving, because I've just been machine gun. I'm like, yo, I'd rather use, because Grant Cardone did a coaching session with Alex Hermosi. He said, held his phone next to his. He said, well, you're just not posting enough.
Right.
And then Hermosi just blew up because he actually started posting a little bit more.
Yeah, but what they're not also telling you is that they also have content buckets.
Yeah.
So they understand what the story one is going
What's
to
the
do.
content bucket? So
So
people
content
understand.
bucket is pretty much, let's break it down to what is the purpose of the content,
Got it. Okay.
right? Every post should have a purpose, right? Once again, whether it's brand awareness, whether it's audience retention situation, or whether it's on an experimental or monetization standpoint, right? It always has to have a purpose. If not, if you're just posting just to post, that's a waste.
Yep.
And then you don't know how to measure that, because you're like, well, it's supposed to be working. Well, what was it supposed to do? Oh, like, was that supposed to convert? Well, no, not really. So why are you mad that it didn't convert?
Right.
Because that wasn't the purpose of it, right?
That's good.
So and we have to look at our content buckets, and I just keep it to 3 or 4, right? And I'm posting in those particular things. If I'm not, I'm doing something wrong. But I have to post in those things, post it every single day, and see how my content does, and just trust the data. If I trust the data, I'm never going to go wrong. I can't fight numbers.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to Alex and Grant, they're posting with a purpose. They're knowing, like, I can flood the streets, but I'm flooding the streets with a purpose.
Yeah.
I'm not just putting out random
Flood
content.
the streets with a purpose.
Yeah, so my stories is going to trigger my core audience, because you want to know more about me. My tips are going to be more for brand awareness, because I need to give those tips so people could share it and bring more reach and everything like that. I'm going to tell you about how I made money, because you're going to want to know how to make money. And so that's my monetization post. This is all done. So I need to hit my cycle of followers, because I'm going to get new followers. I'm going to get people who have been there with me, and I'm going to get people who are ready to buy. I need to hit them, and they are aware of that. They have the resources to take care of all 3 audiences right then and there. So that's why they could flood the street.
Yeah.
They're just not telling that part. So then when people are just like, all right, boom, we got to post something. Nah, not really. Like, I'd rather you be sniper with it
than
just go out there and somebody pick something
He
up.
did that video. I forgot what it's called. I like that video.
Yeah, that's how we have to move. And it's not hard once you understand the content buckets.
Wow. Let me ask you 2 questions. We'll get out of here. The first, what's the number one way, I guess, you folks are to grow your audience right now? Is it just putting out good content?
It's being authentic.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
So it has really nothing about like the content as far as maybe even quality wise or anything like that. It's about, are you being your true self? Because that's rare.
Yeah.
Authenticity and consistency is rare. And that's why we are attracted to it. Right? So if we can be transparent a little bit, if we can show our lifestyle a little bit, if we can give out all the information that we need, because we know that's not hard to do, people are going to rock with us. People are going to share it. People are going to champion what we do, right? If we're consistent and we show, we're not going in and out of your lives. Like, we're creating digital abandonment issues because we show up once and we won't show up again. We show up again. Like, we can't continue to do that, right? So if we could do those two things, this is how our audience is going to grow. This is how our platforms are going to grow. Now, do you have the patience is a different thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't have patience because we look at other people and we're like, oh, well, they grew in this amount of time. And this is like, my favorite example to use is like Earn Your Leisure. Like Earn Your Leisure blew up in like a year and a half, where there's podcasts who've been podding for like 7 years and nowhere near their level, right? They did things differently. But what we can't do is look at them and say, I can do
down during the pandemic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But they also made
crazy.
a topic that isn't sexy.
Financial literacy.
Right.
They championed it.
Right. And they did it in the most perfect time when everybody was scared of how were they supposed to make money. And now you have two individuals that are saying, I could show you how to make money and I'm going to make it look sexy because it's the culture. Yeah. They made it part of the culture when it was never part of the culture.
They went crazy.
Right. But those are different, all these different factors that we're not doing. Yeah. And then wondering why when we have the same success, I'm posting my podcast every single week. What is the problem? Yeah. No, you're not putting those factors in, right? But if you do stay consistent, will it happen? Absolutely. You stop before it does happen. And especially when it comes to, for the example of podcasting, if you don't plan on podcasting for about 7 to 10 years, get out of it now.
Wow. You don't plan on being consistent. And you know, Lewis just got a crazy deal, but he been podcasting for a while.
Right.
Milet deal podcasting.
Right. When you hear Lewis Howes, he's like, in episode 1242, we not nowhere near there.
Yeah, crazy.
We're not there. So if you're not willing to do the long run for it, like, just get out of it now. And I'm not just talking about podcasts. I'm talking like content period. We're getting so caught up in the overnight success, and I'm asking those people who they know grew very quickly, where are they now? Because are you trying to create legacy, or are you just trying to create a viral moment?
Wow. How do you find a Nicky? like how do you find, like, do you gotta just nourish and develop somebody? Where do you find? It ain't no just finding.
Yeah, no. When you see,
or do you go poach them from another company, or?
I mean, you could do that too. If you got a certain bag, the Nickies will be available, right? Yeah. But
you know any right now?
I may know a few, but what I'm saying is, a Nicky's also loyal.
Oh yeah, you Nicky, that wasn't posed that you know that.
But what I'm saying is like, you're going to want to find somebody and build them up to where they stay loyal.
How you make them do that? Because, like,
you build them up.
I build people up.
No, but you have to build them up on a mental, spiritual, and a financial situation.
The 3-piece. I never heard that one.
Yeah, no, it's money is cool, right? We need that in order to have the freedom that we want. Right. But it's going to get to a point where someone, if you only make it that, they're only going to ask for that. And it's never going to be enough.
Yeah.
Right. If you hit them in their mental, then there's balance.
What you mean in the mental?
So meaning, like, if you treat them with mental strength, right? If you teach them how to balance work-life balance and getting to understand who they are, right? And once again, feeling that safe spot, they're not going anywhere, right? Because that's invaluable. Like, to have a place where you care about what I'm doing is going to make me want to work harder for you, right? I'm going through something. You are understanding of it, not necessarily giving me leeway, but you're very understanding, and you're actually maybe pulling some strings to help me get through that. Oh, I'm stuck. What are we talking about? Right? Like, the reason why, and this being in full transparency, the reason why I'm loyal to E is because I had an issue with my dad And he walked me through some things to where there's at least a line of communication now. Oh, I'm not going nowhere. What are you talking? You can't teach that. You can't pay for that, right? So cool. I'm going, whatever you need, great. CJ's job was to make him a household name. I'm going to make sure he's a household name in these phones, right? Not a problem. So you have to, when you're trying to nurture a Nicky or anything like that, are you making sure mentally they're good? Are you making sure financially they're good? Are you making sure spiritually they have some time? Like, that plays a big role. Regardless if you believe in a higher power or not, there has to be a sense of peace within them that they have to, once again, feel safe about. Yeah. And so with that, that's what builds that loyalty. And that's what's like, I could do whatever you want me to do. Humans, whatever they put their minds to, can do it.
Facts.
That's it. It doesn't have to just be video editing. It doesn't have to be social media, nothing like that. You say, I want to build a spaceship. I believe you can do that. I'm going to pay for the tools for you to do that. What do you need from me in order to feel free to be whoever you want to be in this situation? Also, playing within their genius, not what you want. What is their genius?
Yeah, that's good. Playing in their genius.
No, because what?
How you figure that out? Do you ask, what's your genius? Like, how do you?
And this is conversations, yo. What do you really like? Like, here's your job title, right? But where do you feel is the strongest part? I'm gonna let you rock in that, like that for a certain amount of time, like, because I really want to see you at your best. Yeah. Let me get rid of the distractions. Yeah. Let me get rid of this, that, and the third. Like, because if we can make them work in that one genius, right? Not necessarily that one thing, but that one genius, right? Imagine the output that you will get.
It's powerful.
Right. So we tend to get people based off what we need. And then some other stuff happens. Maybe somebody's lacking. Yo, can you take care of this? Can you take care of? You're taking them out of their genius. If we place people in their genius and remove the distractions for them, do you know how much money we can make? Do you know how much impact we can create with that? Keep people in it. Just have conversations. That's and good. It will adjust.
I'm about to send a document out to the team. Everybody on our team, what is your zone of genius, you believe? Or how do you think you could add more value? Like, I don't want to say add more value to the company, but that's the question. But what that you love, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if they don't love it, then it becomes a job and a task. Yeah. And we get bored of that eventually. Yeah. Like we see it all the time with 9-to-5 people where it's like, I got to do it to pay the bills, right? You'll only get a certain amount of level. I'm always trying to reach people bare minimum 80%. Because realistically, is somebody going to give you 100%? I'm asking for too much. Yeah. But I can expect 80% if I'm allowing you to work in your genius.
It's powerful. Hey, y'all, we gonna wrap it up with that. When I say you drop so much gems, I want to say thank you for your time, your energy, your expertise. This session was crazy. Let the people know where they can find you at and tap in.
Yep. So the best place from a free standpoint is Instagram at This Is Nicky's, Nicky with an S. Right, the podcast, Nicky and Moose, the podcast.
How many episodes you on currently?
105.
Wow.
Right.
Every week drop?
Every week.
One a week?
One a week.
What day y'all drop?
Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Okay, cool.
Tuesday at 9 a.m. And we go over your favorite influencers and culture and break down how it applies to our brands and our businesses so we can be as great as them, right? So that happens every Tuesday. And then, of course, if you want to go deeper into content creation and that kind of vibe, deeperthanthebrand.com. We got everything there from a course to a community to a waiting list to get into the coaching program, that whole 9 that's there.
Listen, man, if y'all looking at this, I need y'all to tap in, get the information, tap in with Nicky. Wealth of knowledge, man. And again, I believe one of the best that does it. And she personally helped me, and I'm just grateful for that. So, y'all, thank y'all for tapping into this episode. Please like, subscribe, share this with somebody you believe it can help. I want to bring guests that were impacting and changing lives right now, not before, not right now. And that's what we're going to keep bringing y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Peace.
It has to work or it has to work.